Well, we now come to the next part and our second talk for today with Luc Matagne, who will be talking about Prisma at Iopool. In case you're not familiar with Luc, Luc has been the lead developer at Iopool for 3 years now, living in Liège in Belgium, and he's been developing with React Native and Node.js for 5 years now. So now, without any further delay, I bring you Luc.
Hello, glad to be
Hey,
here.
Luc, how's it going?
Pretty well, pretty well. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here today.
We're glad to have you, and I believe that today you're going to be talking about a refactoring that you did of the complete backend architecture at
Sure,
Iopool. So I
sure.
don't want to take anything away from your talk, and so with that, I'll give you the stage. Are you ready
Okay.
to share your screen?
Yeah, just let me share it. Oh, and it should be okay.
All right. Well, the stage is yours, Luke.
Thanks. Well, hello everyone. I'm Luc from Belgium. I'm working at Iopool for 3 years now as the lead developer. We are a team of 6 people with 2 developers, Mehdi and I. At Iopool, our goal is to help pool and spa owners to keep the water clean and healthy in a fun and very simple way. To understand what is the problem of pool owners, let's put yourself in the shoe of a pool owner. 50% of pool owners test the water manually with test strip or water or liquid test. Manual testing can be really painful for many reasons. The test, it must be performed frequently, and it's not always accurate. It's sometimes difficult to differentiate the colors, or the test can vary from one to another. Now, I have done my test, but what do I do? The you must still ask yourself the question of what treatment to do. It's not that simple. Just the pH is low. I add pH. No, it's not that simple. Maybe it's because you have a bad pH, because your chlorine level is too low. So you cannot improvise yourself as a water chemist from one day to the next. Now, the next thing, you go to the store, you buy the chemicals, and you come back home. But how many spoons do you have to add in your pool? Let's see. If I need to increase my pH by 0.5, my pool capacity is 55 gallons. If I do the recommended quantity and I divide by 3.5, a bit of math, and 318 grams. Now, where's my balance? And is it okay if if I add a bit more of products? Is it too dangerous? I don't know. This does really not sound the idea of fun and pleasure a pool is supposed to give. I'm sure that when you think about a pool, you think more of something like this, or even like this. So the objective of iPool is to help the pool owners to have a clear pool but easy. How do we do it? We offer all-in-one package. So there is a connected probe. Here it is, if you want to see. That monitor your water quality 24/7. We have an application that gives you custom recommendation and advice based on your pool analysis and your pool size. And we also give the delivery of chemicals at home in one click from our eShop. The objective of Iopool is to guide the user step by step in the maintenance of his pool and to reduce any possible error. This way, the user never has to worry about the quality and the safety of the water of its pool. Now, let's talk about Prisma. Why did we need Prisma at Iopool? To answer this, let's go back 1 year ago. It's been 2 years of development since the launch of Iopool, and decisions were made for architecture and technologies to use in the project. There is no Prisma and no GraphQL at this point. The backend is fully hosted on AWS and is handled by a REST API. The logic is maintained with a microservice architecture. There are 16 microservices that evolved asynchronously in the project. Some have been added a few months ago, and some date from the beginning of the project. So a lot of difference in the structure, file structure, and code structure, even tools. All the data is stored on NoSQL database with fake relations, and the microservice exchange data is done through asynchronous notification streams. I'll come back on this later. Cherry on the cake. You can't run all services with notification stream locally on your own machine. So each change must be deployed on the cloud to test it. To help you visualize what a single flow of data look like, here is a schema of what it looked like. Yeah, you got it? It was a dev nightmare. But at Iopool, we don't take this as a failure. For us, it's been 2 years of late. What is late? It's learning the customer needs, iteration on possible solution and enhancements, and test user flows and technologies. With all this learning, we were able to know what we have to do to make the perfect product starting last year. So, exactly 1 year ago, we decided to pronounce the forbidden word, refactoring. We know that our customer use their pool only during spring and summer. So we had autumn and winter to prepare Iopool 2.0. We went full refactoring, app design, app code, and backend, all from scratch. Then we were looking for the good tool, the tool that will allow us to do this refactoring. We've heard of Prisma, and we tested to be sure it could fit our needs. We had 6 points that it had to have, simply. The first one, and the most important, it had to be fast. Not fast as you can think of it, but fast to learn and fast to use. As I just said, we had the next season start deadline to end our refactoring. So we needed an efficient tool. Prisma has proven itself because in only 1 week, we had a database running and a fully typed access to all our data. By using the Prisma schema tool to build our database, we were able to quickly iterate between different structures to get the best database possible, and from the start. 2 weeks after, the big part of all the logic from the old backend was up and running in the new one, even with unit tests and typings that weren't there before. Without Prisma, we are sure that we will never been able to have Iopool 2.0 on time. The marketing team told us that a lot of features should be released this year. So we have to be flexible with the backend. The combination of Prisma and Nexus make the management of Resolver a breeze, and everything is always typed and easily accessible. We can quickly edit, add new things on the go. We had enough complicated flows to manage data. So we forgot the microservice architecture to go to a monolithic approach. All data flows are now clear and synchronous with the code execution. There is no more complicated path between many services to find where data is going or not going. And Prisma was really helpful to get the data we needed easily. That's the third point. Something that was missing during the 2 first years of development was unit testing. And a lot of us know it's really important. So we took the opportunity of the refactoring to add unit tests to each process in the backend. Getting the Prisma client into our testing process was really easy and made the code base so much reliable. We can now sleep soundly after each new commit. In addition to test, as everything is fully typed by Prisma, the margin of error is really, really small. The last 2 points that came with more or less one thing, it's the developer experience that is now so much better in any point. in addition to typings, easy data access, and unit testing, we can now use a local server to live test our features. And it is really out of the box with Prisma. This is such a relief and a productivity gain for us. For comparison, here is a simplified schema of the new backend with data access from a PostgreSQL and a NoSQL database. So the only layer of logic here is in the Lambda, in more or less the function hosted on our server. And Prisma and Nexus are doing all the hard work for us. In comparison, here is what it looks like before, as I showed you. That's the before and the after. So much easy to get our data, and the development was really, really fast. So thank you for listening. And if you have any question about how we did this or use Nexus and Prisma, you can come and talk to me on Twitter, DM me. I will be happy to answer you.
Luke, thank you so much for that presentation. It's been quite insightful to see just the changes in your architecture. And
Thank you.
if you're open to that, I'll also open up the chat for questions. So if anyone from the audience is interested, feel free to send a question. I had some questions along the way. So you mentioned that you were previously using DynamoDB, and you had quite a complex cloud native architecture that was quite hard to replicate in local development environments. What sort of approach did you take when it came to migrating data away from DynamoDB to, I believe you're using RDS with Postgres?
That's it, yes. We used the tool we had on AWS. So we did a little, we used the Dynamo Stream and some I don't remember all the things. That's the other developer who made this. But with pipeline, that's it. With pipelines, we took all the data that was on the old database, and still now, if all users are using the old application or the old backend, everything is migrated to the new backend automatically.
I see. So basically you have like streaming kind of like migration. So any changes to DynamoDB will be replicated to the RDS. I see. And sort of more broadly, how did you sort of approach the refactor? Because it sounds like it was a rewrite, but it sounds like at the same time you didn't have any real downtime while you were working on this. So you did something like a parallel migration.
So the Iopool 2.0 is not out yet. It's going to be released next week. And the old backend is still running, and the user still used it for now. And as I told, there was like a dead period of users between autumn and winter, during autumn and winter. So there was not a lot of activity on our server, but the Iopool V1 was still running during this time. So yeah, it was more or less in parallel, but we didn't have a lot of usage or bugs to fix during this period. So we were able to focus only on the new application. Sure.
I see. And yeah, very interesting. Well, on that note, let's see if there's any questions from the audience. Okay, it looks like nothing came in. Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you again, Luke. It's been really nice to hear your story, and I'm wishing you the best of luck with the big launch that you have next week.
Yeah, crossing finger for us too.
All right, cool. Thank you, Luke.